drum beats go like this.
All right. What's up, everybody?
You're way zoomed in. I'm going to zoom you out.
Yeah, zoom me out a little bit. Just a little bit. There we go.
We are live. We're back, Josh. How we doing?
I'm doing good, man. Yeah, second time back in the studio for the day because right. we're here to deliver the people an excellent show. So Trey right now is actually playing. If you're here for Trey, obviously you're here for Trey. He's on the thumbnail. That's our guy we've been hyping up, Coastal Stars Hall of Famer. He's actually playing in his Fall World Series, correct?
Yeah, he's on a baseball field right now. So we're going to play our interview with Trey later on in this show. It's a banging interview. So you guys are definitely going to want to stick around for that. If you guys are watching or listening, Josh, do we have the chat up? We didn't talk about that. Do we have a chat going?
Let me see.
Hopefully we've got our chats open. If you guys are watching, y'all hop in the chats.
Yeah, make sure you can hear us as well.
Yeah.
Should be able to, but
you guys drop a comment in our chat section. Make sure we're rolling.
I don't have anybody in the chat right now. I'm just going to check, make sure we're sounding pretty good on YouTube here. So give me just a second. But yeah, Trey is on a baseball field right now. So like Coach Justin was just saying, we're going to be playing his interview that we did with him. It's about 45 minutes. But until then, we got a couple of cool little updates. Shout out to Camden Leg in the chat. Shout out to
what up, Cam?
Little baby Cam.
So our chat section is working.
Yep.
Thank you for that, Cam. Appreciate you tuning in. You guys, anybody else who tunes in, make sure you guys drop a comment so we know
got
you're there.
Champ's mom in the chat. Shout out to Miss Lanisha. That's Champ's mom, right? Yeah.
I'm not sure. I haven't
It's
seen
got to
that.
be, right?
That one hasn't popped up on my screen yet.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah, that's her.
Okay.
I see the picture now. So, yep.
Nice. I think my screen must be a little delayed over here because I'm not seeing those. But that's fine. We're going to keep rolling. But yeah, we've got an awesome show lined up. It's good to be back. We had some scheduling conflicts last time we scheduled a podcast, so I apologize about that. But it's good to be back.
I don't know why that is covering my face. I'm gonna fix that really quick.
Okay, it's good to be back. Josh is gonna work on that graphic that's covering his screen right now. It is a lot of stuff, obviously, as you guys can imagine, to run a live show like this. So while Josh is taking a look at that, I want to remind everyone that throughout this show, if you guys are watching, if you guys have a question for us, please take advantage of this time. This is a great time for you to ask questions for us, whether it's about college recruiting or coaching or off-season workouts, player development, whatever that question might be about. This is a great time to do it. We should be seeing those come up in the chat section. So you guys make sure you take advantage of that. But we've got a good show lined up. We're going to be talking about our recent development day that we had over the weekend. This past weekend, I had a lot of guys come out to that, so we'll touch on that. Not sure if we've got the video queued up. Hopefully, I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That's okay. We'll just talk about it. We're going to talk about off-season development. We're going to be talking about what players should be focusing on, workouts, plans, all that good stuff. We're going to highlight a few of our new players that have been recently added to the program. So some of our new guys, hopefully you guys have tuned into this show because we might be talking about you.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I got the video. I just got to, okay, my light just decided to freak out. I have the video. I just got to put it in the show really quick so we can play that once that time comes. But yeah, let's dive into, we have an upcoming tryout coming up. Is that correct?
we do. Yeah, it's kind of tryout season. So I had a tryout. You were there. We had a tryout over this past weekend. And we had some good talented guys come out for that. We had some guys already get offered spots. So we are actively adding guys to the program. So if you're a returning player who hasn't gotten registered yet, the spots are not going to last forever. So make sure you guys reach out to me or go ahead and get registered. You guys have gotten that information several times now in your emails and all that good stuff. But yeah, had a tryout over the weekend, and we've got another one coming up this Sunday in Myrtle Beach. You can see the flyer there on your screen. Sunday the 9th, 1 to 3. It's going to be in South Carolina. So we're looking for some talented guys. We're excited to get Coach Chase more and more involved out there. So that's where he lives, and he's got a ton of talented guys. I think we already have 25 players pre-registered, not including the guys who have already said they're going to come to the next Myrtle Beach tryout.
Oh, I love it. That's a lot.
So yeah, a lot of good stuff happening, in the program, adding a lot of new players. But before we talk about some of those new players, let's go ahead and talk about off-season stuff. So a couple of the things that you guys hopefully know, everybody that's listening right now, is that we send out off-season workouts, right? We've sent out some stuff like that every month. You guys get them from me. That's something our staff works hard, spends a lot of time to develop and create. And now I know that not that many of our guys use it because a great thing is a lot of our players have a weight room at school.
Right.
They have a strength coach at school. They might have a personal trainer. There's some good guys, here in Middle Georgia that are training baseball players. So a lot of our guys are already getting programming, which is awesome. But that's another thing we like to do for our guys at no cost. And sometimes I'll send it to players who aren't in our program, just to try to help players get better. But now is the time to be in the weight room, to get bigger, to get faster, to get stronger. Josh, talk a little bit about that, and we'll talk, you listeners will get to hear more about it in our interview with Trey, but talk a little bit about how important that is, Josh.
Yeah, it's super important. Like, that's the number one thing when we talk to these college coaches is like, hey, it's becoming so much more of a physical sport, with having to adjust to, pitchers with higher RPMs and velocity, or, the game's evolving, right? It's always, the D1 guys have always had to be a certain stature, but now it's even, trickling down to the lower levels as well, where they're like, no, like, we want guys who are going to get in here, who can be versatile, because you might come in as a pitcher or a two-way guy, and then you never know which path you're going to take. And so you'll hear Trey talk a lot about that, because that was a big part of his journey, where he gained essentially, like 45, 50 pounds since we first took him on to where he is now, in his sophomore year in college. And so it's just a big part of the game. Like, you hear coaches harp on it all the time. You hear us harp on it all the time. And it's not that we're like, go eat, we want you to be bigger just for the looks. It's like, no, like, the process of going through that strength and conditioning, it just makes you better, right? Because, I mean, you were talking about it, they'll hear about it in a second. It's like, the season's long, right?
Yeah,
when you're playing 50, you make a run, you're playing 60, 70 games, right? Like, all you have is that strength and conditioning that you put in the off season to rely on, because you're on your feet, 4 hours a day, 5 times a week, playing games, plus like practice, plus you got to worry about school. Oh yeah, you got to eat, it's like, it's a lot that goes into it. And so, becoming more physical, especially in high school, while you have time, is, it's just going to set you up for success.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like Josh said, you guys will hear more about that in our interview with Trey. But yeah, let's go ahead and move to highlight a few of the new players in the program. And Josh, you're not going to know a lot of these names, and
Yeah.
that's okay.
And that's cool because I know that you're the guy talking to all the parents,
That's
getting
right.
all the kids registered. So while you're doing that, I'm gonna get the video queued up for when that's time.
Sounds good. All right. Yeah. So some really exciting players, added to the program, and I'm going to miss names. I always do. So I apologize, guys, if you're listening, if you're a new player and I somehow forget your name. And we've also got a lot of players who are still waiting to get registered, or maybe they have a spot that's offered to them, all those good things. Some players that I'm really excited about. Garrison Joyner is a 17U middle infield guy who we recently tried out. He'll be with us next summer. He's an exciting, dynamic player up the middle. Walker Brandon's a new player added to the 17U age group, along with a long list of returning players as well. And then some of the 16U guys that I'm really excited about. Braden Cook is going to be a tall right-handed pitcher that we recently picked up. Dylan Slaughter is another name. I'm trying to look at my list here. That's a few of the 16U guys. Luke Shepard's going to be a good player, another middle infield type guy, and a long list of returners as well. We've got some new guys that we're looking at in the 15U age group as well. Cameron Player, Riley Hogan, Mason Asbell, Gage Norman, Asher Bishop. So a lot of new names, a lot of new faces coming to the program. And those are just the few over the last few weeks, over the last couple tryouts that we've had. So shout out to those guys. Welcome to the Coastal Stars family. We're excited to have you guys with us, and we're really excited to see how you guys develop and grow throughout this offseason, moving into the spring season as you guys all get ready for high school baseball. So those are some of the new names I wanted to briefly highlight, and I'm sorry for some of the guys that I know I missed. I'm sure there's lots of names that I forgot to talk about. Also, shout out to Mr. McConnell. That is Zach's dad, Moose, in the chat, I believe. How's it going? Thanks for tuning in. And Josh, how's that video looking? We're good. All right. Is that going to be the Development Day video or the Trey video? Development Day. Trey's already up. We're good. Okay. All right. We got a couple videos for you guys real quick. The first one's going to be highlights from our Developmental Day. So hopefully you guys saw the messages I sent out about Development Day. But that was awesome. I think we had 14 or 15 guys show up to that, and all we did was get some good work in. A lot of the guys got a lot of swings. We had 2 or 3 cages going. We had bullpens going. We had catchers getting work in. We had infielders get some reps. So you guys definitely keep an eye out for any of those development days. Those are days almost like tune-up sessions for the players. So we had myself, Coach Josh, Coach Cam, who was working with the pitchers. And the guys got good reps, and, November, December, sometimes it's hard to get outside and get the reps. You're not playing games, but it is good to have those tune-up sessions, and it's great to see a lot of you guys in person, to see how you're growing, to see how, you're moving, how your bodies are progressing, and work on some of the finer aspects. So that's what we did in Development Day. And Josh, if you've got the video queued up, let's take a quick look. Boom. There it is. Some of the finer things. You saw Coach Cam there talking about grips, pitching mechanics. You saw guys getting swings, doing some ground ball stuff. That was a 13-second video, and we did about 2 hours of work that day.
Yeah.
So
The good thing about that is there's limited time that we get to spend with these kids in the developmental process, right? Because they're from all over the state. Some are even out of state, and we have one practice and we have inter squads. And then after that, it's like game, scout day, game, or tournament, all-star weekend. And so we don't get a lot of chances to have that one-on-one interaction with them other than right before a game in the cage. And then of course you're trying to get ready to go out there and play and perform. And so it was really cool because we got to ask the kids individually, hey, what do you want to work on today?
Right.
What's something specific that you came with today that you really want to leave here better at? And so I think all the kids that came took something with them. I even had a couple kids DM me afterwards about different drills or, just, thanking us for, the time. So I thought it was really valuable. So yeah,
awesome.
If you get a chance, come, because we'd love to see you, love to connect with you during the off season. Because it's too long in between the fall and the next summer. So
That's right. That's right. All right, let's check my list here. We also had the World Series that recently took place. We were going to talk about that, but we don't want to be on here all night with you guys. So an epic World Series. This is one thing I always try to emphasize, especially when it's College World Series time. And recently we were gifted one of the best World Series that I can remember.
Yeah, it's
in my
just
whole
like
life.
when things were happening, I was getting up. If I wasn't able to watch, I was getting updates. I'm like, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's like some of the stuff that's happening. It's like I can't even remember a time in my lifetime, at least, where you just had games that were this intense.
Almost all of the
it's
games
just
were intense.
unbelievable.
Yeah, the Blue Jays and Dodgers. Blue Jays took game 1, and then the Dodgers came back game 2. Yoshinobu Yamamoto,
That guy,
absolutely
That
electric.
guy.
Probably one of the best pitchers on the planet, if not the best.
and people were mocking the Dodgers for signing a guy for that much money
They
without
were.
ever having thrown a major league pitch, but it
and
worked out.
It obviously worked out.
Yeah.
They took game 2. Game 3, we had 18 innings, and I couldn't
Yeah.
even stay awake. I fell
I don't think
asleep
anybody
in
did.
the 16th. I mean, they started on the, out on the West Coast, and so it was hard to watch. Game 4, after losing in 18 innings, the Blue Jays come back the next day and beat them, and then we had another extra inning game in game 5,
Yes.
11 innings. We had Will Smith, I think, hit the game-winning the
Right.
home run in the
Right.
11th. After that, Blue Jays took game 6, and we can remember the last game. So
Yeah.
pretty epic stuff.
And it's so crazy how the Dodgers' backs was against the wall in that last game, and they just found a way to tie it up and just come away with a win. Like it's like it just goes back to the saying winners win, right? And it's not that the Blue Jays were bad or anything. It's just the Dodgers were like, no, we're just gonna win. They took it.
Yeah.
It's that dog mentality. You'll hear Trey talk about that in a second.
Yeah, I think I said game 5. I meant to say game
Game
7.
7, yeah.
Will,
No, I
Will
got
Smith
you.
hit the homer
Yeah.
in game 7 in the 11th. Miguel Rojas, that home run he hit
Yeah.
9th to tie the game, and then we had Yamamoto coming back
Dude, that
the
is
day
crazy.
after he threw like 96 pitches. He came in out of the bullpen and threw 3 innings? I think.
It was like either 2 1/3 or something like that, or 3.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't matter.
unbelievable.
Even coming back, the thought of just coming back on that short of a rest is just unbelievable stuff. Nevertheless, to come in and perform at a high level, it's one thing to come back, but to come in and have a good outing is just ridiculous. So
Yeah, and speaking of good outings, we're going to go ahead and talk about our guy Trey Power. We're going to cue this video. This is from our interview.
well, we're going to show some player cards real quick.
Okay.
And then
go
we'll
ahead.
and that leads us into Trey Powers. So fall was great. So we're gonna show the last player card pack, and this is the new design, so that I'm really happy with. This is kind of what we're gonna go with in the future. Shout out to Braylon Wall, who he got hurt early in the season.
He did. Yeah,
But-
he's actually got to have surgery Tuesday.
Wow, so yeah.
shout out to Braylon.
But yeah.
Hopefully that goes well. They've been keeping me in contact and up to
Yes.
date on that.
So
So
we'll be in prayer for you, but he qualified with his limited at bats because you don't get as many at bats in the fall, but he was still able to get a card here. Some other guys that we have, Paul Liriano. I think we skipped a guy. Braden Krause. Yep. I knew there was one that was missing there. There's Liriano again. You got our guy Gray McLean. Got Michael Knudsen. Shout out to him. Cash Green. We got Corbin Thompson, who had a monster last tournament on my team. Lathan Dunavant, that's one of our Myrtle Beach guys. So
That's right.
you might be able to see him this coming up weekend if he comes to the workout there.
Mhm.
Nathan Hester, who was solid guy. He was on Coach Bruno's team, right?
correct.
Yep. Lane Boutwell, who was on Coach Trent's team, right?
He was on mine. 15.
He was on your team.
Mhm.
He was on your
Yep.
team. Yep. It's a solid guy there. Carter Cawthon, who led. He was the MVP of the whole fall. Led the whole program in profit. Just had a monster season from the first tournament to the last. We also got our guy Brody Rogerson,
Oh, yeah.
who played one tournament, but when you're at the top of the lineup, you get a lot of at bats, and he made the most of all of his at bats.
No doubt.
So unbelievable stuff. And that leads us to our guy.
Trey Power, there he is.
Trey Power.
And unfortunately, he's not hitting anymore. We let him do both. We always knew he would be on the mound.
Hey, he did. He
day.
did win the home run derby.
He did win the home run derby as a Coastal Star, so he could also swing it. Shout out to Nuts in the chat. Thanks for tuning in, Nuts. But those cards you guys just saw flash across your screen, those are based off the offensive stats that we collect throughout our season. So those are some players worthy of highlights. So congratulations to you guys for getting those cards. And while we got Trey Power on the screen, let's go ahead and show you guys. This is the interview. Trey Power. A lot of knowledge dropped. You guys listen carefully to this interview, and I hope you guys enjoy. Yeah,
also drop any questions. We'll be, after this airs, we'll be on for a quick Q&A. So any questions that you have for us or regarding, I mean, Trey obviously won't be able to hop on, but we'll answer any questions that you have at the end. We'll be saving those comments. All right, here we go.
Trey, thank you for your time. Thanks for hopping on the show with us. We're going to get started by just introducing you a little bit. So tell us where you're from, where you went to high school, where you're at now. Give us kind of an update on who you are.
My name's Trey Power. I'm from Panama City Beach, Florida. I've been there my whole life. I went to high school at a small 1A in Panama City. It's Dean Bozeman. And now I'm at Alabama State University for my second year of college.
Nice.
Fantastic. And tell everybody, how did you come across us? Because I think you played with us 2 or 3 years. How did you find our program? How old were you when you first started playing for the Coastal Stars?
I believe I was 16, and I mean, we found y'all through the insane trick play at third on Instagram once that blew up.
Oh, love it.
That's awesome.
That was when my dad was like, "Yep, we got to get you on that team." So
yeah, Coach Trent's gonna love that.
Coach Trent will love that answer. Shout out to Jamie McDaniel. He texted me this week too. He's the player who did that hidden ball trick that so many people have seen. We had a video blow up on that. So you saw that video. It was like, let's see who this team is. You found us. You reached out to us. The rest is history. So I can't remember. I mean, it had to be at least 3 or 4 seasons Trey played with us. I guess my next question is, what do you remember about your kind of early days playing with us and for us? You know, think back on that. What do you remember? What stands out from those early days?
So coming in, I had a rough junior year of high school for baseball, and it really kind of took my spark away for baseball, like getting burnt out a little bit due to some other factors on the field and off the field. Um, so I was not gonna play travel ball, but then I was like, I'm gonna give it another shot, and I seen the trick play, and then I got more into looking, and I really wanted to play at the next level at the same time when going through all that, and seeing that y'all were just starting to build where the program's at now, I was like, I'm gonna give it a chance, and this program just reignited my passion and love for the game. I give the program and y'all most of the credit for my senior year performance because of the fact my love come back, and I was more just like, okay, I can do this again. Like, this is how the game should be played. And then how like caring and thoughtful y'all were on getting everybody out there, getting the names out there and everything like that. Like, that just makes a huge difference, and that's what was my main factor.
Awesome. Yeah, I think I remember too. And we kind of glossed, I forgot to mention what you did last year as a freshman in college. But you threw like 50 innings as a freshman at Alabama State. I think I was looking through your stats. I think you had 22 appearances. You started a few games. And I remember watching one of those games that you started. Talk about, confidence and having to love the game. Was it at Auburn or was it Ole Miss? Who did you start against last year? Alabama, maybe?
It was Alabama.
It was at Bama. Okay. Yeah, I remember that. I think they were nationally ranked at the time, and you got the midweek start against those guys. That was fun to watch.
Yeah, that's tough.
Very tough. Very tough. But yeah, no, that's awesome. I think I remember too. I think it was maybe your 10th or 11th grade year. I came down, and my family had spent some time in Panama City Beach, and I came and watched. I think it was like a JV game or something that you might have been playing in and pitching in. So that was cool. So he found us through the video. Spent 2 or 3 years in the program, and yeah, I guess we helped him.
We helped him get to the next level, which is that's our whole big thing. You see it in the corner. We want to get players better so that they can get seen and be in a position that Trey's in. Living out their dreams, playing at the next level. So yeah, Trey, you talked about how the program gave you that spark and essentially that confidence to have the big year that you had your senior year and ultimately get you in the position to get a scholarship. Can you talk about what that process looked like? Like, what was there something specific, like a specific moment or game or something that a coach told you, or maybe even another player that helped you, like helped everything click to be like, oh no, like I'm kind of that guy. I just need to go be a dog.
Probably 100% was when I can't even remember the name. It was the first game of I think it was the fall. The coach, with the pitching coach for LaGrange, coached it. I don't remember his name.
Coach Hayden.
I think so. It was like that team was loaded, like they were insane, and we come out and beat them first game of the tournament. Dang,
Oh,
I can't remember.
okay. So who was your coach?
I think
Was
it was Justin. Yeah,
it was
I
Coach
think.
Justin? Okay, so I'm not. I don't know.
I think I remember you're talking about. It was
Yeah,
a Lake Point game, right? And
Yeah,
we beat a pretty loaded team.
like
We
a
beat them
really good
three to
team.
two.
Oh wow. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
yeah,
Got it.
Trey threw like 5 innings, and I think we had someone come in and get the save for the last inning.
yeah. Hunter did.
Yeah,
Hunter Holder.
Hunter Holder
Love
came
it.
in. I remember that game. Yeah, we were fired up about that one. That was a great win. So that was kind of a moment for you, like, I can do this. Like, I can compete with these big dogs. Like, I'm here to stay, and I got my swagger back.
100% between that and then the team was the energy was just unmatched. Nobody was an eye player. Everybody was like, all right, we're gonna go out here and we're gonna do this together. Like if one person does bad, we all do bad. It's not one person's fault. Like everybody had each other's back, and that just showed like I was just like, this is how baseball is supposed to be played and how it can be played. Coming from a time where I didn't think it could ever be played like that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you've already kind of answered this question. The next one I had was like, looking back at our program, how did playing for us help you, both on and off the field prepare for college? And it kind of sounds like there were some of those moments where you got the confidence, you got to compete against really good competition, and we beat them and we competed with them. And they probably had more players than us. They might have had, some really good players, but so do we, right? And so that's kind of, I think you've already answered that one. Here's the next question I got for you. What parts of your training or experience with us do you think gave you an edge when you got to college?
Probably the showcases. When the coaches would be out there. Mercer was a big one. That right there, just kind of preparing you for knowing there's big people watching. Because even at this level, like still there's someone always watching, and it prepared me in a way just for the fact that like when I did it then I was like, well, now I have it. So if I'm struggling now, I can go back and look back as like I've already done this before. I've already put in the hard work and I've already done this. Like it's gonna speak for itself in a way.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was our fall 2024 scout day. We had it at Mercer.
Mhm.
Did you hit a home run that day too?
I did. I hit one off
Yeah.
Hunter Holder.
Yeah.
Shout out to Hunter again, coming up twice. Very good.
I love that.
Yeah, you want to take the next one, Josh?
Yeah. So, was there a particular coach, teammate, or moment from your time in the program that stands out? So, I know you gave us one of the first games in the fall where the whole team rallied and you had that great outing. Was there another moment that really stands out from you during your time in a Coastal Stars uniform?
Um, I wouldn't necessarily say I was in the Coastal Stars uniform when it happened, but it was definitely when Coach Justin come down and watched the high school game. And that meant a lot to me for one. But I'd say one when I was in the jersey, it probably would have been Will. He was my catcher. He did a lot for me behind the plate. We played fives that one of the 5-star teams, and he was back there, and he helped me out a lot mentally. Like he would sit there, he'd come up to the mound, he'd be like, "All right, you got these guys. You're way better than them." He goes, "You just throw it. I'm gonna catch it. I'm gonna help you out the best I can." He goes, "I've already talked to the umpire this game and told him." He goes, "You just go out there and just do your thing."
Very nice. Was that Will Godwin? Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, Will Godwin. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
No, Will's still playing. He's at ABAC as well. So another guy who went on to play in college. Shout out to him. And yeah, that's a couple of things that are super important, right? Having teammates that give you confidence and then also having coaches that believe in you, right? And that's one of the things that I'll always try to do in the springtime is go out and watch our guys play, give them some feedback, encourage them. And obviously, we're talking about it 3 or 4 years later with you, and it's a moment that meant something to you. So that's awesome. We'll kind of take a little bit of a turn here. We're going to talk more about, let's see, my next question, transitioning to college baseball. What has been the biggest adjustment for you going from high school or showcase baseball with us to trying to now compete in college?
Definitely the strike zone. Um, the strike zones and the way the guys work the counts. Lot of tight zones. So we got a lot of guys that you when you get up to here, you go from playing against the oldest kid being 18 or 19, and now we're going against with the rules and everything now guys that are 27, 28 years old. So they're obviously way more seasoned than somebody coming straight out of high school. And that was one of the another big factor was just that was adjusting and mentally telling myself I'm gonna go out here and do my thing, but I got to understand that there's guys out here that are still gonna beat me with my best pitches because they're 5 years more seasoned than I am when it comes to this level of baseball. I
Yeah.
No, yeah.
mean, a biggest example too is this fall we have a kid on the team. He's from Puerto Rico, or no, Venezuela. He's 28 years old. He's been
Oh,
playing
wow.
baseball for like 4 years, and like I've been trying to strike him out all fall, and I did get him, but he has one of the best swings I've ever seen, and it's just such a big adjustment because like you throw the like a perfect curveball or perfect changeup, and they still somehow slap it around the field. So I would
Yeah.
say that's one of the biggest adjustments.
No, that it's super important. The seasoning, if you will, is a huge thing because I don't think you could have really good talent and even be a contributor like you were for your team as a freshman, but it's not until you get older and even, once your baseball career is over to where you look back and like, man, like I grew so much from, that time I stepped on campus. Like, yeah, I was, in a position to play and help my team win, but you don't realize how much you grow and just like the little nuances. Because as we say all the time, baseball is a game of adjustments. And so you're always constantly adjusting from, even pitch to pitch, but no doubt from game to game, outing to outing. So talk about some of those adjustments that you had to make, and are continually trying to make to get better as you become more seasoned.
So another big adjustment for me is like this one isn't necessarily on the mound, but it's flexibility. I'm a meathead. I love to lift weights. That was my biggest thing. Like I love to lift heavy. Um, the coaches come to me and they say, "Hey, you have a lot of talent, but you're really stiff, and so you can go lift heavy once a week, but I need you to move toward mobility and stretching 24/7." So I've been doing that, and another big thing was obviously the strike zone. Keeping a good composure when you don't get the pitch or the call you want. They pay attention to every little thing, and as a freshman, I would show a little bit more body language than I should have last year on competitive pitches I thought were strikes that weren't strikes. And as soon as they see that, they just eat you alive at that point. And so, really, it's just making sure stay positive, keep my cool, and then just go back to executing the next pitch and flushing the previous one.
Yeah, yeah. There's so much to unpack there. That's a great answer, and you've had a lot of great answers so far. And it's funny how the game resets, right? You mentioned your junior year in high school, and then how you turned it on your senior year. Had a fantastic senior year. I think you might have been like region player of the year, and then all of a sudden we we reset, right? And now you're the small fish in a big pond instead of
Yep.
the big fish in the small pond. And so it's a game of adjustments, like Josh said, and that's what we were talking about too. We were looking at your stats, a ton of experience as a freshman. You threw 50 innings. That's a lot of innings for a freshman, and you took your licks, right? You gave up some homers. You got hit around a little bit, but by golly, it's going to make you make some adjustments, right? And it's going to make you grow as you continue your career. So that's awesome to see. Um, Next question we had for you: how is the day to day life of a college baseball player different from what you expected?
Um, a lot more of like instructional time, I'd say. So like I thought like I didn't really know what to expect with the schedule because obviously every program's differently. But here we practice 5 days a week, and obviously you have to keep it under the hours for that rule. But we would go. I think Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Monday, Tuesday would just be fundamentals on practice, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday we're going at it inter squads, and that's the main thing. We do a lot of that, a lot of inter squads, and I think
Mhm.
that's one of the reasons our team is going to be as good as it is because we're going to be very prepared because we're seeing live arms 3 times a week, and we have a guy for just about any situation that you could face. So.
Nice, nice. Yeah, you were telling me that you guys increased the pitching depth on the staff, which is awesome. How do you balance? You mentioned that day to day in the schedule, and I think all programs are a little different. But how do you balance your academics, your baseball, and your personal life as a college athlete?
So, after last year, you get a good feel for like how you can handle school with baseball. I mean, I think that is a big adjustment for a lot of people. It could be stressful. So last year I had some classes on days that like in the spring that we would travel on and everything like that. So now this year I went ahead and took majority of the harder classes in the fall. So in the spring, I'd only have to take like 3 classes, and I could have them spread out to like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or for me, it's probably going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday because we're going to be traveling on Thursdays to go for the weekend series. So yeah, basically just for me, I switched all to online because it's easier because we travel a lot this year. And so I went ahead and made my schedule to where I can work it around baseball and not be overly stressed about missing practice. And obviously, school comes first, but at the same time, like I have to throw, I have to get my bullpens in and everything like that. That's just as much as a priority, in my opinion.
Yeah, no doubt. There's some hacks for sure. I remember when I was, in college as well, our academic advisor did a good job helping us schedule our schedule around, the baseball practices, right? You don't have a Friday class in the spring, right? Like you just can't do it because you're going to miss them. And what you said there too, the lighter workload in the spring is a big deal. Take your hard classes in the fall, so that's a great idea for our guys that are going to go on to college. Make sure you're handling that. Very good. And another thing you said too was school comes first. And that's what we have to tell our guys too. And it's the same way in high school, right? The first question any college coach is going to ask is, what's his GPA? Is he going to qualify to be able to get into the school? How much academic scholarship money can we get him, right? So that's super important. You're always going to be a student first,
Yeah.
student athlete,
Yeah, I
student
got
part
something
comes
on
first.
that, Justin.
What you
So
got?
yeah, like I think, and we always preach that, and the kids always hear it, and some of the stuff we say is like in one ear, out the other, because they're young and they don't even understand or have the context. But I remember my mom before I went off to college would say like, it's different, like it's a big adjustment. And so I had that in my head, and you're like, oh yeah, like I get it, mom. Like I know it's going to be an adjustment, and you kind of have that context, but then you don't realize how big of an adjustment. Like you get there, and I remember I was like, my laundry is it's piling up
It's
here.
a pretty big pile over
I,
there.
I guess I got to go down the hall and
Yeah.
do the laundry. So like that was kind of a big thing, is not only balancing like sports and academics, but just like living your life. Like
Day-to-day
I
stuff.
gotta
Yeah.
put food in my belly, and I gotta make sure I make it to chow hall. Mom's not there to make sure I eat enough vegetables, like all of that stuff. So what was we talked about like the adjustments to that, but what was like one of the biggest adjustments last year, into just getting settled into the college lifestyle as a whole?
Definitely living on my own. So the baseball team here doesn't live on campus. We live in apartments. And we get some people have 3 roommates, the other ones have 2. I have 1. So I have mine. I'm in a suite, so I have a bathroom in my room, and then my buddy has just a regular room, and his bathroom's across the hall. But the biggest thing is obviously figuring out how to cook for yourself. Luckily, my parents own a restaurant, so I was able to get some idea on like what I wanted to cook and everything like that when I got here. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's 5 course meals. It's a lot of ground beef, eggs, and chicken and rice. I mean, that's the easiest meal for a college athlete.
Yeah,
Oh
no
yeah.
doubt.
I mean, because at the same time, like as an athlete, when you're living on your own, like you have to lift, and then you have to go to class, you have to go to practice. You got to make time to eat, and so it's really just about the food prep and everything like that. That was my biggest adjustment last year, was figuring out when I could eat my meals each day at the same time, so I would have the energy to perform and on and off the field.
Nice. Yeah, that's a great transition to our next question. And this is kind of more about mindset questions. And I know your body has changed a lot since you played for us. Like you said, to quote you, you said I'm a meathead, right? You love to lift heavy. I watched you, and a lot of it was online. I watched you grow, and I could tell if Trey's getting bigger, he's getting stronger, his velo's going up. I remember when you were up with us, you were 78, 79. Now I think I watched you hit 87, 88 against Alabama last year. And obviously a ton of hard work and probably a lot of ground beef went into that, right?
Yeah,
So
lots.
the question is, how has your pitching evolved? And I saw, like I kind of mentioned, your body kind of evolved, but how has your pitching evolved since you joined our program to now?
So, I learned a lot about myself playing with y'all, and obviously, Lake Point having the velo and everything on the board. One thing I never really paid attention to then that changed my whole pitching perspective when I was at Lake Point was the spin rate on the board. I never really cared about that number or anything like that because I just didn't think it was anything. Well, it comes to find out, when I got recruited to go here, I was only 78, 79. But apparently that day that I was throwing, I didn't know they had TrackMan at the time. Um, I was throwing 2,900 to 3,000 RPM curveballs, throwing 79. And then they were like, well, he get those strikes and he can command the zone. He's got a 3,000 RPM curveball. That's just not like your average curveball. Um, I would definitely say between that and so when I pitched with y'all, had command of a fastball, a two seam, and a curveball. Now I have command of a fastball, a two seam, changeup, slider, and a curveball. On top of throwing 87, 88 now.
Awesome. Awesome. How much did you weigh playing with us, maybe your junior, senior year of high school, and how much do you weigh now?
Oh, I weighed
Is that too
about
personal? Is that too personal?
no. I weighed about 155 to 160 playing with y'all, and then that last year of high school, I got to 175, and then I got here and I really found the weight room, and I haven't looked back since. Uh, I'm cutting right now, but I've been up to 210. Right now, I'm about
Wow.
195.
Dang, yeah, he's packing
Awesome.
it
I
on.
love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah. And that's one of the things too. I've done research into this and you guys can go into chat GPT or whatever and it's, not too hard to find, but like the average college baseball player is like 190 pounds, right? Division one, it's like 195 pounds. And so you have to be that physical to be able to compete. And obviously that's one of the reasons why you're where you're at, Trace, because, you dove headfirst into that. So that's awesome. Josh, you want to take the next one?
Yes. So, what's been the most challenging part of pitching at the college level?
Um, Probably, being young and facing the fifth years, the big guys, especially so like me facing Alabama was awesome, and getting to face Tennessee was awesome. But the biggest thing when you get to those, like you really grasp about how like legit it actually is. Um, those guys can hit, and like if you go back there's some in the Bama game, I missed my spot by like maybe an inch, and the dude hit a triple down the line. Like they just if you cannot miss your spots, like in high school or travel ball and stuff like that, where you can get away with missing pitches. I'd say you get lucky maybe one out of every 100 times against teams like that missing a pitch. Like they're not gonna if you miss your spot, they're gonna. I mean, Tennessee took me back to back on two pitches because I missed both my spots. Like they just
Yeah.
don't miss, and you
Yeah.
can't give. You got to pound the zone and stay ahead and keep them on their toes because the second you fall behind when it comes to not hitting your spots, it don't matter how hard you throw. If you can't hit your spots, I mean, it's irrelevant.
Yeah,
So I mean, really, just to really hit your spots.
it's gonna get hit for sure. Question number 15: what part of your game are you working on the most right now?
The run, say run control. Not that like a lot of guys are getting on, but
I love
my
that.
biggest thing, my biggest thing is holding guys on and making sure I come set because I like to work fast and I get antsy. So I tend to balk a little bit.
Oh
I
no.
haven't done it yet, but the coaches tell me that it's gonna get called. And another thing is, so we have another guy from Missouri, and Missouri teaches their guys approach on using the pitch clock. You don't have to be in the box until it's at 8 seconds. And so he's like he's mastered it because obviously like that's what they did there. That was part of their BP. So you can't look at the guy or you can't come set till he looks at you. So I mean, and you have 20 seconds, and you get on the mound with a runner on, and you have 20 seconds on the clock, and you look over, and it's 8 seconds, and he's not even in the box yet. So then he's pretty much running it down to about 2 seconds, so you have to throw. So it really is staying calm and controlled, and even pre-gripping the pitch when it comes to people like that, because that is a huge adjustment now, because you only get one warning, and then if you do it after that for the rest of the game, it's a ball.
Yeah.
So it's really just about staying calm, controlled, and not getting ahead of myself when or getting antsy in a way, waiting on the pitch call.
Yeah, for sure. That's a huge adjustment. You know, you go from high school ball and there's no pitch clocks, you know, whatever. I can come set as long as I want. Doesn't matter, you know, how long it takes for me to get my sign. Tell everybody at home who might not know what are the pitch clock rules for you guys at the Division 1 level?
So the batter has to be in the box within 8 seconds, I believe, and you cannot come set as a pitcher until he looks at you. Um, the time starts as soon as you step on the dirt, anywhere around the mound. As soon as you get the ball, if the ball's in your hand. That was another thing for me too. Is I'm a guy that kind of walks to the front of the mound to grab the ball and then walks back. If you do that, as soon as you touch the front part of the dirt, it starts. So I had to stop doing that. I had to stay on the top of the mound. Um, if you don't pitch by the time the clock's up, it's a ball, and the that's all on the umpire's call. Like you have to be in motion by the time the clock hits one.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think what else. I think that's really it to that. It's not really crazy. There's probably more, but we're all still trying to figure it out because I feel like they just add more and more rules each year.
Yeah, yeah. The rules are constantly evolving, which is another challenge, you know, to players and to coaches. Have you found, you know, we talk about the pitch clock. What about as it relates to pickoffs? What are your coaches? Do you guys have a strategy when it comes for like, hey, like these guys are, you know, they're leadoff guy and they're 8-hole. These guys have 20 bags, like they're gonna run. Do you guys have any strategies that you're trying to implement that leverage the pitch clock? Like, you know, I know you probably only get 2 disengagements. Is that still the rule this for 2026? Do you know?
I believe so. I think if you throw it, it doesn't count though. I don't know. I know unless I think you can pick off as much as you want. I don't know about the disengagement part really because we haven't really played around with that this fall.
Mm-hmm.
I do know like if there's somebody on second and the pitch clock runs out and like you spin move and don't throw it counts as that,
Right.
and you can't do that. You have to throw it for it to get the reset.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. And that's certainly an area that, you know, I'm excited to see as these rules change and as they get more and more strict on the pitch clock stuff. Cause I've seen it a lot too, where sometimes umpires, you know, they're not really going to call it, but I feel like it's probably going to get more and more strict the longer we're using the pitch clock, and in all the, you know, fields and facilities, they have it there on the backstop or on the scoreboard so everybody can see it. So it'll be interesting to see how it develops, and it'll be interesting to see how players like you and coaches like you have start to shift their strategies around it, right? And learn ways to leverage it and use it to help benefit the team instead of hurt the team. Very cool.
Yeah, man. So Trey, what routines, workouts, or habits have made the biggest difference for you?
Everybody everybody, like, stuff you do for yourself isn't going to work for everyone, but I'm a firm believer in lifting 5 times a week. um, I think with the workload that we have in the spring, if you don't have the muscle mass to support yourself, you're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get tendonitis. Um, it's not gonna. You're not gonna be where you need to be. And I mean, people probably won't agree with it, but I rather be like overly stiff because I can always loosen up in the spring, compared to where I'm not like strong enough or have enough muscle mass, but I'm really flexible to where I could get hurt more. In my opinion, obviously I'm not 6 foot. I'm 5'8", so I didn't get blessed with the natural talent part when it comes to that. So I also have to just work double compared to what somebody 6'1" or 6'2" has to do, because of the fact that they get more range of motion, they get more momentum going down the mound. um, they're more, they just have more leverage in general. Um, but I'm a firm believer on lifting as much as possible to build up certain muscle areas to support the workload in the spring.
Yeah, for sure. And earlier on this podcast, we're going to be talking about the importance of the winter time and the importance for our high school guys of, hey, this is the time for you to be like Trey Power and fall in love with the weight room. All right. We're going to talk about 5 days a week. Our guys are lucky to get 2 or 3. I love it. Yeah. But that's what it takes. I mean, Trey, I wasn't going to say it on the podcast. You said it. He's 5'8". But he's fallen in love with the weight room, and it's got his velo up. He's more explosive. He's stronger. And that's really important too, because in the spring, I remember playing, and this happens in every season. Your weight is just going to go.
Yeah, it dwindles because you're just moving around all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I would play shortstop for 3 games on back-to-back-to-back days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm on my feet for 3 and 4 hours a day. My body is tired. I'm banged up. It's hard to stay in shape. And that's when that off-season, November, December, January, all those off-season lifts are kind of coming back into play because you've kind of bulked up for that and your body's ready to take on that load. So, Trey, I think that's a great point, and some solid advice for our younger high school guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Trey, moving over into, some like a little bit of a different section here on like just your overall perspective. So what's one thing you wish you knew before playing college baseball?
Velo doesn't matter. You see a lot of guys chasing velo because obviously it looks amazing on camera. It looks amazing in recruiting videos. You see pocket radars come up to the screen, guy throwing 97, 98. And when you're younger, you tend to compare yourself to a lot of people, and you see that, and then you're like, well, I need to do that then, because obviously like that's the way to get to the next level and stuff like that. And it's just the consistency of being in the zone. One thing I saw last year the most was it doesn't matter. I mean, obviously for my sake too, it didn't matter. I got recruited throwing 78, 79, but we've faced guys last year throwing 73, 74, and they shut us down for 8 innings. So really it's just not to chase velo. I found myself doing that a little bit going into senior year and lost a little bit of control during that summer, or the summer after my senior year. I picked up with a team, um, but I found myself starting to chase velo a little bit, and it just didn't work. It messed me up. I wasn't in the zone anymore and everything like that. So like really it's just to pound the zone and don't compare yourself to others. Everybody's different. What you do is not going to work for everybody else.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's super important to understand what type of player you are, right? You're left-handed, you're 5'8", you're never going to throw 98, right? And that's just who you are. But what you've learned is that I need 5 pitches that I can control to compete at this level. And so that's what you've kind of bought into. And it's kind of icing on the cake that you fell in love with the weight room and now you're throwing harder. So that helps too. When you throw changeup, slider, curveball to a guy, and then you throw 87 at his letters, all of a sudden that 87 looks a little bit more like 93, 94, right? And so I think for our players listening, I think it's so important to know what type of pitcher you are, know what type of player you are, right? for my guys, like we've got some guys who are 6'4", they're right-handed. Those are the types of guys, hey, you need to be throwing hard, right? You
Yeah.
might not be a left-handed pitcher, crafty starter like Trey Power, but if you can throw 88, 89, all right, let's continue to buy in. Let's try to get the velo up to 91, 92, develop the wipeout slider. All of a sudden, you could be a closer, right?
Yeah.
And so there's different types of players, and I think that's super important. Like what you said, Trey, you have to know what works for you, and it's not going to work the same for everybody else. So
Yeah, something we talk about all the time is pitchability, which I mean goes into everything you were just saying. You just got to know thyself, right? Like, who am I and what can I contribute to the team? And then once you figure that out, it's about going all in on that. And I think you've done a really good job of that, Trey, of like understanding who you are and then totally selling out in that to be the best you that you can be, not only on the field, but off the field as well. So yeah, kudos to you on that. Rolling on, only got a couple more questions for you.
yeah, I got one I wanted to throw in
Okay,
too.
good.
And this is one we probably should have done in the beginning. But Trey, tell everybody like your recruiting story. So I know, you were playing with us. We talked about our fall scout day at Mercer that we had in 2024, and the college coaches we had there. Tell everyone what happened to you. How did you end up at Alabama State? Obviously, you went to a camp, 3,000 spin rate, breaking ball helped out. But tell everybody kind of your story, I guess, as how you ended up there.
So, I mean, I've come to this camp. That would have been the camp I got recruited at was my fourth camp in a row. I went once a year, freshman, sophomore, well, three, because no, it was four. I went twice my freshman year, but I
Nice.
went
That boy.
freshman, sophomore, junior. Um, but playing at Lake Point with y'all, and then I had no idea how the recruiting process worked. Anything posting on Twitter, had no idea. Coming a part of y'all's program really opened that up for me. Getting the good videos from Lake Point, getting the videos from y'all. I was actually able to email that stuff to the coach in order to get an actual interest going into that last camp. So they knew I was coming, and they knew that they wanted to wait around. That camp it was 30 degrees out with 20-mile-an-hour wind. It was freezing. Um, and they waited around just to make sure because they wanted to see like what it was like compared to in the videos. Um, but really, the person I shout out the most is my mom. I didn't want to go to that camp. I had told my mom, I said, this would be my fourth one. Yes, they email us back because, a lot of the coaches do is just to get the money, especially for the younger guys, but it's still great for the exposure. But I had told my mom, I was like, I don't want to do this. Like, it's my fourth time. I'm tired of it. Like, it's not going to be anything. It doesn't matter what I do. Like, I could go out there and strike out 10 guys and they won't care because of the fact that they're 78. I'm short. Like, I'm not good enough to play at this level of baseball. Why am I even going? And she goes, go put your stuff in the car and go. And I went. And sure enough, after the camp, they pulled me aside and they were like, we want to offer you a spot on the team. We'll contact you next week and let you know the details. And I haven't looked back since.
I
Let's
love that.
go.
Everybody needs a mom like that, or just somebody in their corner just pushing you, because sometimes you do get down, just in life in general, and it's always good when you have that good support system to push you to be like, no, like you got this, like just go for it.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And what a great story too, because honestly, it's kind of like textbook. Like that's exactly the type of stuff I try to get our players to do, right? You did a great job collecting video of yourself competing at a high level and pitching well. And then you had, the ability and, the maturity to put those in an email and send it to that coach. And that helped you make sure that they knew who Trey Power was before you showed up. Even if those first three camps, they were just collecting your paycheck, right? That last one, they knew who you were. 30-degree weather, you went out there, you did your thing, and obviously it had an impact because you threw 50 innings for him last year, which is, that's a great story and fantastic job and example of what it takes, the investment it takes for a guy to get on the radar, to attend the camp, and to get an opportunity. And that's one of the biggest things I think that college coaches look for is guys that want it, right? When I get a kid who shows up to my camp for the fourth time, I'm like, I know this kid's name. Like, he's been here before. Like, he keeps coming back. He must really want to play here. And so I think that really helps too. I was the same way. I got my offer at Georgia State after a camp. And so those camps are invaluable. They're very important, especially I think for the older guys. Like you said, Trey, it was your senior year. It was your last time going to that camp. Mine was the same way. I think I was going into my senior year, and that's oftentimes the biggest recruiting opportunity for a specific school that you get is going to those camps. And I know a lot of our guys. I had a guy text me yesterday, "Hey, coach, I'm going to this camp." I'm like, "Awesome! Keep me posted on how it's going." So that's what we love to see out of our players. And that's the type of investment it takes, right? That's just what it takes. Awesome story there, Josh. Do you want to do? I think we've got 1 or 2 questions left for you, Trey.
Yeah, Trey, if you could sum up your time in our program in one word or phrase, what would it be and why?
That's a tough one. I could use a lot of like just a lot of one words. Uh, I'm gonna just use two. I'm gonna say it's amazing and beautiful, just for the fact that like, you don't see many people out there anymore um, that really care about their players. They just care about collecting the paycheck. They don't care what they do on the weekends or whatever. They just care about getting the money. Um, like, and I think that obviously, it's just amazing the fact that there are people still out there that care. Because before coming to y'all, I didn't think there was. The way the program has evolved to now is why I would say it's beautiful. It's just because of the fact that that program deserves every good thing to come its way. There's going to be a lot more great things to come that way. I mean, compared to when we first started, I mean, I'm pretty sure my group was obviously like when Coastal was just getting started with the older age groups. And then, we had a few guys commit, a few guys go, and now it looks like y'all got like 15 or 20 guys at least. I mean, I keep up with it all the time. Like, it's just awesome to see that kind of growth and progress. And everybody in the program that buys into what y'all have to offer is set up for success. And if they don't go anywhere, it's their fault because of the fact that y'all leave it all on the table for us. I mean, y'all left it all on the table for me. And I saw it and I took it and I ran with it. And I haven't stopped running with it since.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Good stuff there. And I've got another one for you. What advice would you give to younger players, especially pitchers trying to follow in your footsteps?
Just be yourself, have fun, and you got to be a little arrogant on the mound. People might watch my stuff and say I'm really like cocky or arrogant. You got to live in the moment. You got to think like when you go out there, like you're going out there to compete. Once you get the first guy out, like you're doing your job. That's your job. Um, like you strike out the side, you come off hot. You have all right to come off hot. Like, not like taunt the other team, but like you have the right to come off with some hype
Yes.
for yourself.
Strut
Yeah,
Because
get
around
that's
a
some
your
little bit.
job.
energy
Yeah.
for sure.
Like that's your
Absolutely.
job. You're
Mhm.
going out there and doing your job. You work, especially as a PO. We don't get to do much. We pitch. That's it. You
Yeah.
don't get to you don't get to pick yourself up by making an error and then going and hitting a bomb. You're all or nothing. So like you gotta have a little bit of fight to you when it comes to that. And you just gotta be a dog. Don't let the little things get under your skin and just compete and have fun. I mean, that's really all there is to it.
Awesome. I love it. Those are great mindset type things for our guys when they actually take them out. And I think we've covered plenty of good tips, your recruiting story, the things you did, buying into the weight room, off-season type stuff. Plenty of good tips for those guys as well. Last question.
Well, one
What you
thing to
got?
piggyback off, like I think when we talk about go be a dog, sometimes that gets lost in translation to the guys. They're like, what does that even mean? But I think Trey just summed it up like perfectly. It's just like, no, like just go out there and leave it on the field. Know that you can do it, strut around a little bit. Like that's your job. Like, and so just for the guys watching, or I mean, even when we clip this up, it's like when we say like go be a dog, like get some dog in you. Like that's what we mean. Like go out
Mhm.
there and just show us what you can do. Like have that confidence and let that bleed through your performance. So
Yeah.
yeah, awesome, Trey.
One phrase that I've started saying coaching now is I would much rather say, whoa, like slow down than go.
Mm.
I don't want a guy who I have to say, let's go, like get out there, have some energy, go compete, like be a dog, like have some like competitive nature about you. I would much rather say, whoa, tone it down, don't scream at the other team. as opposed to
Yeah.
as opposed to someone that I have to say, let's go, man, wake up. These guys are teeing off on you. You know, I would much rather say whoa than go. So I think that sums it up nicely. Trey,
We need that on a t-shirt.
yeah, I love it. Trey, what's next for you? What are your plans after baseball? Tell us about life after that. What you got? What's the horizons looking like?
Obviously everybody's dream is to play the sport as long as possible. Um, I mean, there's a chance, but I'm humble about it, and I think that after college, obviously I'm gonna be a pharmaceutical rep. They make pretty good money. Um, then I really want to help retire my parents for one, because they've supported me through this whole journey. So really, all of this and everything I do is just to set them up for retirement. Just for the fact of baseball is not a cheap sport, and in a way, you pay to play, because once you get further on, like you can't have a job, you can't do certain things. You can have certain jobs, but not making enough money to completely live on your own. You know what I mean? And I think that it's not talked about much as or enough of how much our parents do for us. So that's like my biggest goal, is really to just make sure they're set up for retirement and can enjoy the rest of their life the way I was able to enjoy all of mine up into after college, because it's not easy for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah, I don't think that can be stated enough. And that's one of the things we always try to do is thank your parents, right? The parents do so much, whether it's training, whether it's paying for workouts, whether it's lessons, or whether it's the hotels, getting you to the tournaments, all those things, traveling to watch you play. Those are the unsung heroes. I think that's a great answer. In 5 to 10 years, if anybody needs pharmaceuticals, you guys reach out to Trey Power. I'm gonna go ahead and get you your first business right here.
There you go.
Trey, I think that's all we got for you, brother. Coastal Stars, fantastic player, Hall of Famer in my book. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today. Josh, you got anything else for Trey?
No, man. Thank you for sitting down with us. Had some awesome answers, a lot of value here. So hopefully our guys and even some of the parents can take a lot of what you said and apply that to their own journeys. So appreciate you, Trey.
Yeah,
Appreciate y'all. I'll still be keeping up with the program and everything, because I love watching it.
absolutely. And
I
we'll be
love it.
watching you come spring. We hope Alabama State has a fantastic year, and I think you're set up for success, and we'll be cheering for you as well.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
See you, Trey.
See you, man.
See ya.
All right, and we're back. It's like magic.
Boom. Time travel.
Let me adjust your.
All right. Hey, we're going to do a sign off here, but before we get into saying goodnight to everybody, if anybody has questions or comments, last call for those in the chat. A couple of people we do want to shout out. Ethan Morgan, if you're still watching, what is up? We got some Coastal Stars alumni.
Yeah, shout out to him.
I think Ethan, alumni from the program, I think he ended up joining the military, and I think he's engaged or about to get married now. So whatever you got going
that's
on,
an engaged
Ethan,
photo right there.
yeah,
I'll tell you what.
Congratulations, Ethan.
Yeah, shout
Elijah
out to you.
Hicks was tuned in. Looks like Mr. Horn and hopefully Justin Horn was tuned in as well. So thank you guys for hopping on the show. Hopefully you guys found that interview with Trey Power pretty informative. I love some of the stories he told about his recruiting, about what it takes to compete at the Division I level, pitching against Alabama, against Tennessee. A lot of really.
How about
really
that
good
last
stuff.
bit? The thing that gets overlooked, thanking your parents,
That's
just
right.
being grateful. I mean, a lot of times we take for granted even the opportunity to go out there and play the game, just the ability to just be able to play.
right.
Not even play at a high level, but just go out there and have the opportunity to compete. And then when you add in the factor that your parents sacrifice a lot of their time, a lot of their resources and money to help you pursue your dream, like make sure you thank your parents.
Absolutely. Coach Randy hopping in the chat says great interview. Thanks for the comment, Coach Randy. Very good. Last call for the questions. And Josh, unless you see any others, one thing I will say, anybody, if you guys have ideas as to who we should interview on our next podcast, you guys drop those in the chat or text me or text Coach Josh, and we'll consider those. We love to interview college coaches, our former players, anybody who knows the game of baseball, anything like that. What else you got?
Or if you know somebody who's playing professional baseball or playing in college, that would, be an interesting interview. Like we're open to it all. So yeah, love you guys. Hope y'all have a great night. Remember, we have the upcoming tryout that's coming up here. This weekend, correct?
Correct.
In
Yep.
Myrtle
South
Beach.
Carolina. We're going to have some more in Georgia as well. We're going to be all over the place for the next 2 or 3 months. If you guys are not registered, make sure you guys do that. Returning players spots are already getting taken by new guys. So make sure you guys take care of that. Let me know if you have any questions. And I think with that,
Yeah,
we'll
we're out of
sign
here.
off. Thanks, guys.
Game begin.